Sarah's putting Beex under an awful lot of pressure.
Wish me luck.
If Beex can get it done for 250 or under, Sarah's on track to make a chunk of money. But there's also the light fittings to budget in, and they could start eating into the profit. So, with 2 items safely in the capable hands of Rupert and Beex, it's time for Sarah to get to work. And she's taking her item back to her cottage/workshop in the Sussex countryside,
She's been running off and trying to go and see the new lambs in the field.
where she's got guard dog Bramble watching over the money-making Monopoly sets. At ease, Bramble.
This is my Monopoly moment. I've just looked at it. Look, it's an American one. I didn't notice that when I saw it the other day. Baltic Avenue and Mediterranean Avenue. Oh, that's quite cool. I've never seen a US one before. I had a quick look at these pieces the other day and I was wondering why it had a jockey in it, because I've never seen one of those before, but that must be the American version.
Sarah's decided to ditch the American board and focus her attention on the little metal pieces. But what to do with them?
I was thinking that we should be able to turn these into jewellery, and I've done a bit of research, and I think for a dozen pieces I'm looking at roughly £30 to £40 to get them plated in silver. Maybe if I can turn a dozen of them into something to wear as a pendant, I think that maybe we might get £15, £20 each. So over £200 worth of profit potentially here. Now that has got to be a surprise after just chucking out a Monopoly set at the tip.
It was actually the niece of Charles Darrow, the accredited inventor of Monopoly, who came up with the idea of using charms from a girl's charm bracelet as the Monopoly pieces, way back in the 1930s. So really, Sarah's repurposing them back to their original purpose, kind of. Having objects silver-plated can be done by mail order, and so is quick and easy and relatively cheap to do. But before they're shipped off to be silver-plated, Sarah's drilling holes in them so that chains can be threaded through to make necklaces or bracelets.
Don't look what I'm doing with the dog.
Ouch! The poor dog's getting the rough end of the stick. Don't look, Bramble!
So these are my 14 fabulous pieces. So I'm really pleased with these, and I think they'll make lovely charms. And I'm going to get them all silver-plated, including the jockey, to make a little memento for Eric, just in case we don't make any money out of this at all.
With just £30 to £40 of silver plating to budget in, if Sarah sells them all, she could be laughing all the way to the bank. Back in Margate, Rupert has started drawing up blueprints for his transforming multi-purpose metamorphic library steps. And if you think that sounds difficult, remember he's only got those ladders to work with. Rupert starts this mathematical mind melter by taking the ladders apart.
It's falling apart very easily.
He unscrews the hinges to see the raw materials he has to work with.
So now it's not a ladder anymore. It's going on to its new life as a multifunctional piece of furniture.
With the very detailed blueprints drawn up, he prepares to start cutting. But one miscalculation and the whole thing could be ruined.
It's taken quite a while to work out the exact perfect angle I need to cut. So I've only got one chance of getting this right. Once it's cut, and I can't just glue it back together.
Rupert's using a circular saw with an all-important guide rail. This ensures accuracy to within a millimetre, setting the precise depth and angle at which the wood is cut. Timber!
A little while ago that was a ladder, and now it's a pile of bits. I think I'm going the right way. I'm not entirely sure yet. There's a lot of complicated angles and cuts to make. Yeah, there's still a lot of problem solving to do.
Well, you'd better get a move on. There's 2 of them to do, remember?
Somehow, this needs to now flip together. This is a tricky bit. Somehow, this has got to work through 2 angles, which hinges generally don't do.
It all hinges on this. Will Rupert's calculations match up and make fold-away furniture? Yeah, I can kind of see where he's going with this, but it's a long way from something I'd pay a few £100 for.
All will be revealed.
Well, I, for one, cannot wait. Back in Surrey, Beex is making a start on uncoiling that coiled spring soon-to-be floor lamp.
Twist it. That's it.
Bex's partner in grime is husband Dave, who'll be helping out. To make it malleable, they have to heat it in a furnace to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Then they have to gradually beat out the bends on the end of an anvil.
It's just really awkward, the shape, isn't it?
They only have a short window before the spring needs to be heated again, and again, and again.
It's collapsing on itself, so we need to open it out.
High-carbon steel is notoriously hard to keep in one piece when heated, so they'll have to be careful.
Oh, wait.
With progress slow and hot, after an hour of hammering, Beex decides on a different tactic.
We're just going to unravel the middle bit and then the end bit, and then we'll take it next door, do it on the fire bit so it's slower and stuff. But yeah, it's tough.
Beex and Dave retreat to the relative peace and quiet of their own workshop.
Gone deaf. Well, that was fun.
Once the spring is straightened, they're hoping to recreate the elegant curve of a classic mid-century lamp. But even after all that hammering, there's still a lot to do.
We need to have this finished today, don't we?
And Beex and Dave are feeling the pressure.
We have to make sure we don't get it too hot so it just breaks.
And just as they're making some progress, the spring has snapped.
First disaster.
With time running out and now 2 pieces of metal, it's back to the drawing board. Or chalk table. Or whatever.
So keep the spring in the middle. I mean, we're going to have to now get that together. And then, yeah, it's got that spring detail.
By keeping the coils at the end of the springs as a feature, it may save some time. But how to repair that break?
I know.
Oh, that was quick.
So we'll turn that into a little feature. So we'll have about 3 rivets there. So I guess it's, you know, it gives it an industrial look and it covers up our mistake. So nobody will know.
Brilliant. But before Beex can rivet the pieces together, there's still an awful lot of unravelling to do. Once the coil is flat enough, Beex can turn to the power hammer to take on some of the bashing. A blacksmith's best friend for over 100 years. Without it, they would probably keel over from exhaustion and have biceps like bulldozers.
It's not bad shape from up here.
But then, some of the work still needs good old-fashioned brute force.
Dave, I think I need your body weight.
Get in there, Dave, you brute. After a whole morning of unravelling, Beex and Dave are spent. With still a lot to do, they decide to tackle the rest in the morning after a well-deserved rest.
We've got to cut ourselves off, you know, now, because we're sort of running into our critical time, you know, so, yeah. We need fresh eyes now, because it's got to look nice.